Why do some people seem to level up constantly while others stay stuck in the same loop for years? It's not discipline, it's not talent, it's something way simpler and way harder. Most people avoid it at all costs, but once you understand how it works, you'll start seeing it everywhere. The next few minutes I'm going to show you why the tiniest uncomfortable choices are secretly the most powerful ones you'll ever make, and why avoiding them is quietly keeping you from the life you say you want. One, comfort is a trap. There's a reason you feel stuck, because you've built your life around avoiding discomfort, and yet the man who avoids discomfort also avoids growth. You weren't born for a life of ease. You were born to expand. Every great life begins with an act of discomfort. You must force yourself to leave the cozy routines, the known habits, the soft lies that tell you it's okay to stay the same. Discomfort is your compass. It points toward transformation. You have goals, you have dreams, but they exist outside your current comfort zone. You will never touch them unless you step out. This means taking risks, facing fears, doing the thing that terrifies you, because that's where the reward is. You were not designed to sit and watch others ride. You are made of the same material as every great leader, every historical giant, every titan of achievement. But you must choose discomfort, choose the early morning, choose the hard conversation, choose the new skill. Growth is not found where you are, it's found where you resist going, and that's exactly where you must go. The Bible reminds us in Amos 6:1, "Woe to those who are at ease in Zion." Comfort may feel good in the moment, but it lulls you away from your calling. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, built a life of rugged challenge. Well, as a boy, he forced himself to embrace physical discomfort, boxing, hiking, and riding, to build both body and spirit. His discomfort became the seed of greatness. Let yours do the same. 2. Pain is the gateway to power. If you avoid pain, you also avoid power. That's the secret nobody wants to hear. Pain is not your enemy. It is your instructor, your sculptor, your divine blacksmith. Each time life strikes you, you are being shaped, molded, tempered, and yet we've been conditioned to shrink from the very fire that forges us. We were taught to dodge discomfort, to numb the sting, to mask the wound. But I ask you, what if the pain you dread is the very tool that builds your destiny? Think of the body of a warrior. The strength of the muscle does not come from ease. It comes from tension, from tearing, from fatigue. When a muscle is placed under strain, it breaks slightly, but not to weaken. It breaks to rebuild stronger. That is not destruction. It is divine design, and life is no different. The failures that shake you, the rejection that bruises your ego, the loneliness that echoes in your soul, these are not obstacles, they are initiation. Pain is the proving ground, the battlefield where the weak retreat and the strong emerge. The world's greatest achievers did not run from discomfort, they ran toward it. They did not avoid resistance, they trained under it. Thomas Edison faced 1,000 failures before perfecting the light bulb. Helen Keller, born both blind and deaf, endured the suffocating silence and darkness to become a beacon of human potential. Abraham Lincoln suffered loss after loss, heartbreak after heartbreak, and still rose to lead a fractured nation, not in spite of pain, but through it. 3:4 whispers this eternal truth to us. We glory in tribulations also, knowing that tribulation worketh patience, and patience, experience, and experience hope. Your pain is not a punishment. It is a process. It refines your character. It burns away what is weak and reveals what is unbreakable. It tests your patience, sharpens your endurance, and teaches you how to hope. You must stop praying for escape. Do not beg for lighter burdens. Build a stronger back. Life is not meant to be easy. It is meant to be earned. Stop wishing for comfort. Wish for courage. Do not wait for the path to get smoother. Prepare your feet for the thorns. The moment you stop running from pain and turn to face it, Everything changes because pain only chases coward, but when you confront it, embrace it, endure it, you find it has no power over you. In fact, you take its power and make it your own. This is how warriors are made, not in comfort, not in silence, but in the fire. When you feel broken, know that you are being built. When you feel crushed, know that you are being crowned. Pain is the passage, not the prison. It is the corridor through which all strength must travel. So walk through it with fire in your eyes and steel in your spine. Carry your suffering like a sword, not a shack. And remember, every scar you bear is proof that you survived the strike, and every step through pain is a step toward power. Do not retreat. Do not flinch. You were never meant to live a life of avoidance. You were born for the climb, the conflict, the crown. Let pain teach you. Let it stretch you. Let it forge you. For in your deepest suffering lies your highest strength and the glory of your true self waiting to emerge. That is how warriors are made. That is how you will be made. Goals demand sacrifice. You say you want to win, but what have you given up to earn? What have you laid on the altar of ambition? Every goal carries a price tag. Every dream issues an invoice. And if you are not paying that price daily in time, in effort, in comfort, then the truth is you do not want it badly enough. People love to fantasize about success, but few are willing to fund that fantasy with sacrifice. Because dreams are not handed, they are traded for hours of discipline, traded for nights of solitude, traded for moments of leisure you'll never get. The man who achieves much has surrendered more. That is the unseen law of greatness. You cannot feast on distractions and expect to be fed by destiny. You cannot party like everyone, sleep like everyone, and still expect to rise like no one. Success does not emerge from convenience. It demands your full attention, your undivided commitment, your relentless endurance. You must choose. Do you want to be entertained, or do you want to be exceptional? Because you cannot have both. This path is not paved with applause. It is marked by absence, absent from parties, from comfort from the crowd. You will rise in early mornings and labor in quiet rooms. You will be misunderstood, ridiculed, forgotten, and still you must stay the course. Because you are not living for approval, you are living for results. You are building something sacred, something that only sacrifice can buy. Luke 14:28 asks, "For which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost?" Greatness is not an accident, it is an exchange. A life of meaning is built brick by brick, each brick paid for in energy, discipline, and delayed gratification. Sacrifice is not a loss. Booker T. Washington, born into the chains of slavery, he refused to be a prisoner of circumstance. He traded his comfort for education. He walked miles just to attend a schoolhouse. He scrubbed classrooms just for a seat in them. He was mocked, ignored, pushed aside, but he counted the cost and paid it in full. And with each sacrifice, he was building a tower of influence, of purpose, of legacy. He did not ask for ease. He asked for the opportunity to earn. That is the mindset of a winner. So I ask you now, what are you willing to give up? What comfort are you willing to burn? What convenience are you willing to bury? The answer to that question does not just shape your future, it defines it. No dream is too big, but every dream is too expensive for the undisciplined. If you're not trading for it, you're not trying for it. If you're not sacrificing for it, you're not serious about it. Begin today. Start trading. Start sacrificing. Start rising. Let others waste time. You must invest it. Let others chase pleasure. You must pursue purpose. Let others sleep. You must build. Let them laugh now if they must. Your results will speak later. You were not born to blend in. You were born to break through. And every breakthrough is paid for in advance by the one who dares to give up what others cling to. So let go, give it up, Pay the price. That is how towers are built. That is how legacies are born. That is how you win, for fear is an illusion. Fear is not real. It is a projection, a shadow cast by the unknown. It is not a presence. It is an illusion, a phantom of what might go wrong, not what is wrong. And yet this illusion holds more people hostage than failure ever will. Fear has aborted more dreams than poverty. It has destroyed more potential than rejection. It has crushed more destinies than criticism. Why? Because people believe the lie. They believe that fear is a wall, when in truth it is a doorway. Fear shows up right before your breakthrough. It is not a warning to turn back. It is a signal to press forward. Because every victory, every promotion, every breakthrough you will ever experience will be preceded by a confrontation with fear. The fear of not being good enough. The fear of being laughed at, the fear of failing publicly. But these fears are not evidence of weakness. They are proof that you are on the threshold of something significant, something that matters, something worth fighting for. So what must you do when fear arrives? You show up louder, louder in your belief, louder in your movement, louder in your action. You move anyway. You do not negotiate with fear. You do not wait for it to vanish. Because it won't. Fear is a loyal companion to those who dream big, so let it ride in the back seat, but never hand it the wheel. March with it beside you, if you must, but do not ever bow to it. You are not given a spirit of fear. That is not your inheritance. 2 Timothy 17 declares, with divine certainty, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, and of love, and of a sound mind. Fear is not your portion. Power is. Courage is. Clarity is. God has already equipped you with everything you need to face the darkness and win. All you must do is trust the power He placed in you. Fear is the enemy of destiny. It doesn't come to wound you. It comes to rob you of progress, rob you of peace, rob you of purpose. If you bow to fear, you lose everything. But if you rise in the face of it, if you defy it, you gain everything. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. Courage is movement in the face of it. It is defiance with your feet, rebellion with your actions, resistance with your persistence. Helen Keller was both blind and deaf. Two of the most isolating realities any human could endure. Fear would have been natural, acceptable, even, but she chose boldness. She chose knowledge. She chose the hard, narrow path of growth. Through faith and determination, she became a world voice for the disabled, a symbol of unbreakable will. She proved once and for all that fear may knock on your door, but it does not have to own the house. Your fear is a compass, not a cage. Let it point you toward the very thing you must conquer. Let it show you where your courage is most required. Do not fight fear with logic. Fight it with faith. Fight it with motion. Fight it with decision. Stand on the edge of the unknown and take the step anyway. That is where champions are born. That is where destinies are made. So the next time fear whispers you can't, you roar back. Watch me, because fear loses to faith every single time. 5. Self-belief is your launch pad. No one will believe in you until you believe in yourself. And that's not arrogance. It's alignment. The first person who must endorse your vision is the one staring back at you in the mirror. Before the world can support you, applaud you, follow you, or fund you, you must decide that you are worthy of that support. You must align your thoughts, your speech, your actions, with the future you claim to desire, because belief is the first builder of all success. Proverbs 12:1 speaks with striking clarity. Whoever loves discipline, loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is stupid. The Bible doesn't soften the truth. It strikes with it. Discipline is not only wisdom, it is the gateway to wisdom. A lack of it leads not just to failure, but to stagnation. When you learn to love structure, to embrace correction, to find purpose in repetition, you walk into strength. True discipline is not a punishment for failure. It is the preventative medicine that keeps you strong enough to keep rising. George Washington Carver, born into, slavery raised in hardship. But never once did he let his past define his ceiling. He rose not because of miracles, but because of methods. He maintained rigorous personal routines, woke early, studied scripture, honored his work. Day after day, he chose structure over sloth, purpose over pleasure. Through this, he became a world-renowned agricultural scientist. His disciplined life became the soil from which invention, education, and elevation grew. His life was not altered by a moment of brilliance. It was built by the discipline of daily effort. What you need is discipline. You need the commitment to show up, the courage to keep building, the mindset to trust the slow grind of excellence. Discipline doesn't shout. It sustains. It doesn't dazzle. It delivers. And it is this steady, focused fire that builds empires. Yours families writes legacies. Let others chase excitement. Let them live for the weekend. You are here to build a life, and discipline is the tool that makes it possible. Envy is a distraction. Envy is subtle, dangerous, and corrosive. It doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't challenge your strength. It drains it. It creeps in silently and convinces you that someone else's success somehow diminishes your worth, that if they're winning, you must be losing, that their spotlight means your shadow. But the truth is, envy is never about them. It's always about you, about the distance between where you are and where you think you should be. It's a symptom of disconnection from your purpose, your path, your power. You must train your mind to celebrate what you once resented. When you see someone rise, rejoice. When someone wins, learn. Let success sharpen your vision, not sour your spirit. Your breakthrough begins when you stop comparing and start preparing. When you no longer compete, complete your assignment. Galatians 6:4 gives us divine clarity. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone, without comparing themselves to someone else. God never asked you to outshine anyone, only to fulfill the work He placed in your hands. Comparison kills contentment, but focus breeds fruitfulness. The moment you fix your eyes on your lane, your power returns. You are not here to mimic. You are here to manifest. Henry Ford didn't waste his energy envying Thomas Edison, or Nikola Tesla, or the dozens of inventors grabbing headlines. He focused, he simplified. While others obsessed over innovation, he mastered process. His genius wasn't in inventing new ideas, it was in streamlining existing ones. And through that focus, he revolutionized the automobile industry. He didn't win by running in someone else's lane. He won by owning his own. That's the secret. You cannot win in a race. You were never called to run, and there is no finish line in someone else's lane. Your timeline is yours. Your gifts are yours. Your journey is sacred and tailor-made. So stop glancing sideways. Every time you do, you lose seconds, steps, and strength. Turn your gaze inward, work your assignment, build your vision, sharpen your tools, because the moment you stop competing, everything changes. Peace returns, joy expands, momentum multiplies. When you no longer crave their life, you unlock the fullness of your own. Envy is a thief dressed in subtlety. Don't let it rob you. Kill it with celebration, starve it with gratitude, drown it with focus, and remind yourself daily, their win is not your loss. It's just confirmation that victory is possible. And when it's your time, your victory will be just as real, just as earned, just as divinely appointed. Focus, finish, flourish. 8. Proximity shapes your potential. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Their words echo in your thoughts. Their habits creep into your routines. Their standards shape your expectations. This is not opinion. It is law. Proximity is power. But like all power, it comes with a choice. It can either empower you, or it can enslave you. If you surround yourself with small thinkers, your dreams will shrink to fit their limitations. If you walk with the defeated, you will speak their language of excuses. But if you walk with the bold, your courage will ignite. If you sit among the disciplined, your own consistency will sharpen. You do not rise in isolation, and you do not fall alone. Your circle is a mirror, reflecting either your potential or your patterns. Your inner circle is not just a group of people, it's a direction. It is either a cage that traps you in comfort, or a catalyst that propels you toward greatness. That's why you must audit it. Who are you around? What do they normalize? Do they challenge your complacency, or coddle your mediocrity? Do they hold you to a higher standard, or help you justify staying the same? 20. Lays it bare. Walk with the wise and become wise. For a companion of fools suffers harm. Wisdom is contagious, but so is foolishness. There is no neutral environment. Your surroundings are always working on you, either pulling you forward or dragging you backward. This is why your relationships are not just social, they're strategic. Your circle is shaping your future. Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men of the early 20th century, understood this truth. Though born poor, he built a financial empire that reshaped industry. But Mr. Carnegie didn't rise alone. He formed a mastermind group, a close-knit circle of thinkers, builders and visionaries, men who challenged his ideas, sharpened his plans, and expanded his horizon. He credited much of his fortune to the collective mind of that circle. His wealth was a byproduct of proximity, not just to people, but to purpose. Look around. Who are you sharing space with? Who are you giving access to your mind, your time, your energy? Are they fueling your faith, or feeding your fear? Are they sharpening your edge, or dulling your ambition? Your environment is either incubating your greatness, or suffocating it. If you want to grow, get around growers. If you want to rise, sit with risers. If you want to lead, walk with leaders. Iron sharpens iron, not wood, not water, not comfort. So find the iron in your life. Seek those who make you uncomfortable, in the best way, who don't let you settle, who call you higher, who won't applaud your stagnation. You don't need more time, you need better alignment. Your destiny is not locked in the future, it's hidden in your friendships. Choose them with sacred intention. Protect your proximity, like treasure, because in the end, you don't just reflect your circle, you become it. And if you want to change your life, start by changing your company. The future you seek is already walking. Find it, and walk with it. Consistency beats talent. Raw talent is common. Every street, every school, every corner of the world has someone gifted. But talent alone is not the separator. The rarest and most valuable currency in the world is consistency. Everyone wants to be excellent, but few are willing to be consistent. Talent gives you moments. Consistency gives you mastery. You don't build a legacy in a single day. You build it brick by brick, action by action, day after day. It's not what you do once in a while that defines you. It's what you do daily. The repetition, the routine, the rituals that no one applauds, but everyone eventually notices. Excellence is not the product of random bursts. It is the outcome of sustained effort. The grind is unglamorous. The work is often unnoticed. The results may be delayed, but over time consistency compounds. One page written, one call made, one rep finished, one truth spoken. These small efforts, repeated endlessly, become the foundation of greatness. 1 Corinthians 15:58 says, "Be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor is not in vain." That verse is not just spiritual encouragement, it is life instruction. Your labor, done faithfully, is never wasted, even if no one sees it, even if it bears no immediate fruit. Every consistent act is a seed, and in time it must yield. Wilbur and Orville Wright, they weren't the most brilliant scientists. They weren't backed by unlimited resources. They weren't favored by perfect conditions, but they showed up again and again. Repeated crashes, tireless revisions, endless trial and errors. While others waited for better technology, for more certainty, the Wright brothers kept testing, kept building, kept failing forward. Their genius wasn't in brilliance, it was in persistence. And eventually, the sky opened, flight became real. History was changed. That is the power of consistency. You don't need the perfect plan. You need the perfect habit. You don't need to do everything at once. You need to do something every day. The man who keeps going long after it's boring is the man who wins. Because while others grow tired, he grows trained. While others seek motivation, he trusts momentum. Your dream is not asking for intensity, it's asking for reliability. Can you show up when no one claps? Can you repeat the action when the emotion fades? Can you still write when inspiration slips? That's where greatness is, not in lightning strikes, but in steady rain. So make your consistency your weapon. Build rituals that reinforce your purpose. Make excellence a system, not a mood. Let your discipline outlast your doubt, because the results you desire don't come from what you want to do. They come from what you're willing to repeat. Flight is not a gift. It's the reward of refusal to quit. So stay on the field, trust the work, repeat the step, and over time, watch your destiny is waiting. Your life is not an accident. You are not here by chance or coincidence. You were born with purpose, wrapped in potential, and sent to this generation with divine intention. There is a reason you breathe today. A reason your heart beats through pain, through confusion, through every ordinary moment. But understand this, destiny does not chase. Destiny waits. It waits for your decision. It waits for your courage. It waits for your yes. Every excuse you make, every delay you tolerate, every moment you shrink back from purpose is another day lost. Your potential is not a guarantee. It is an invitation to rise, to build, to answer the silent call inside your spirit that says, there is more. Your gifts were not given to be buried beneath distraction or doubt. They were given to build something new eternal, to plant seeds in the ground of this world that only you were designed to sow. The door of destiny does not open with casual interest. It opens to the man who knocks with fire in his chest, with unwavering intention, with the willingness to walk into discomfort, challenge and uncertainty, because he knows the cost of disobedience greater than the cost of difficulty. There is no shortcut to destiny. There is only a decision to step into. Jeremiah 29:11 declares, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you, and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. This is divine truth. God has a plan for your life, but he will not force you to walk it. He will invite you, but the steps must be yours. The journey must be yours. Heaven provides the blueprints, but you must build the life. Look at Florence Nightingale, born into wealth, surrounded by privilege, expected to marry, to host, to entertain, but she refused because she heard a calling deeper than comfort, a voice louder than tradition. She left the ballroom for the battlefield. She walked into war zone, not for glory, but for healing. Not because it was easy, but because it was heard. Her path was carved, not by circumstance, but by choice. She redefined medicine and reshaped history. Her destiny was not revealed in ease. It was revealed in obedience. You have a Nightingale moment too, a sacred assignment, a unique calling, a path only you can walk. It may not look grand, it may not look impressive, but it will be yours. It will whisper to you in quiet moments. It will tug at you when you try to ignore it, and one day it will demand an answer. The question is not if you are made for more. The question is, will you rise to meet it? Do not let destiny wait in vain. Do not spend your life rehearsing reasons when you were born to release results. Say yes. Step forward. Decide. Because destiny is not random. It is relentless. And it is waiting for you. 11. Chaos reveals character. Everyone looks like a leader in the light when everything is going according to plan. When applause is abundant and progress is visible. Leadership seems easy, but storms don't reveal your potential. They reveal your preparation. When fear rises, when confusion reigns, when the plans collapse, and the crowd scatters, that's when your character begins to speak. Chaos strips the mask. It silences the rehearsed speech and exposes the rehearsed speeches and exposes the real voice underneath. It shows who is rooted and who is merely reactive in the moment of crisis. You discover whether your foundation was built on applause or on conviction. If you panic in chaos, you weren't prepared for purpose. If you stand firm, you've built wisely on principles, on faith, on unshakable truth. Psalm 46:1 says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. In other words, God doesn't run from storms. He shows up in them. He doesn't wait for your life to calm down to get involved. He is present in the disaster, and he offers not just comfort, but strength, not just escape, but endurance. This is the secret of true leadership. It doesn't depend on the absence of chaos, but on the presence of God. Look at Frederick Douglass. Born into slavery, raised in oppression, he lived through America's most turbulent times. From the shackles of bondage to the battlefield of civil war, and yet through the chaos, he rose, not because the world made space for him, but because his spirit refused to shrink. He educated himself when it was forbidden. He spoke truth when it was dangerous. He led not because it was easy, but because he was anchored. His moral compass didn't sway with public opinion. His vision wasn't dimmed by resistance. He stood when the world shook, and now, so must you. In moments of chaos, anchor deep, return to truth. Don't react, respond. Don't shout, stand, speak peace, act wisely, and let your presence become a refuge for others. Because storms don't last forever, but the way you lead through them will echo long, long after the sky is clear. Leadership is not about avoiding the fire. It's about stepping into it with clarity in your eyes and conviction in your voice. It's about choosing courage when fear is easier. It's about staying rooted when everything around you is shifting. The storm is not the enemy. It is the force, the place where resilience is molded, where wisdom is tested, and where true leaders are born. So do not run from the storm. Step into it. Let it refine your voice, your values, your vision. Trust that you are not alone in the chaos. You are strengthened in it. Lean into the God who is present. Let him be your anchor, your courage, your God. Because in the end, people will not remember how you led in, they will remember how you stood in the storm. Silence builds strategy. In a world addicted to noise, silence is your secret weapon. While others rush to
Seek, you learn to listen.
While the crowd reacts, you reflect. While they post and boast, you build. Because silence is not emptiness, it is strategy. It is the stillness before the strike, the pause before the masterpiece, the quiet where clarity is born. Noise demands attention, silence commands it.